Welcome to Express News. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj and we give you top 100 news of the day. So let's get started. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Emerging Science, Technology and Innovation Conclave in New Delhi on Monday. The Prime Minister released a vision document and a coffee table book. He also launched a 1 lakh crore rupee Research Development and Innovation Scheme Fund. Addressing the event, the Prime Minister emphasized that efforts are being made to promote research and development in the private sector. Hailing the India women's cricket team's World Cup win, Prime Minister Modi called it a spectacular win and said that the team's performance in the final was marked by great skill and confidence. On Sunday, Indian scientists successfully launched India's heaviest communication satellite from Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. The satellite will strengthen the Indian Navy's space-based communication network and enhance maritime domain awareness. Prime Minister Modi extended his heartfelt congratulations to all the scientists involved in the mission, including ISRO, saying that India's space sector has become synonymous with excellence and innovation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi intensified the BJP-led NDA's push in the Bihar Assembly election on Monday by addressing a rally in the district of Saharsa. Addressing another rally in Bihar's Katihar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the development in the region under the NDA government and added that people have unwavering faith in the NDA government. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar welcomed Bahrain's Foreign Minister Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani to New Delhi on Monday. The Bahrain Minister is on a 2-day visit to India. Delivering his opening remarks at the 5th India-Bahrain Joint Commission meeting, Minister Jaishankar reiterated India's support for the Gaza peace plan and hoped that it will hopefully lead to a lasting and durable solution. Bahrain's Foreign Minister said that India continues to be one of Bahrain's primary trading partners and both nations recognize that economic cooperation is essential for promoting peace. President Draupadi Murmu addressed the Uttarakhand Assembly on occasion of completion of 25 years of the creation of the state of Uttarakhand. The President highlighted the advancement made by the state in the field of tourism and education during the journey of the past 25 years. India has dispatched an urgent consignment of 10,000 doses of rabies vaccine and 2,000 vials of rabies immunoglobulin to Timor-Leste to assist in combating an outbreak. Troops of the Shahbaz Division under the Doordarshan Chakra Corps of Southern Command are undertaking high-intensity integrated maneuvers in exercise Maruzwala as part of ongoing tri-services exercise Trishul. The Indian Army's Southwestern Command carried out a major integrated fire and maneuver named Sentinel Strike from 28th to 30th of October at the Mahajan Field Firing Ranges in Rajasthan's Thar Desert. The Indian naval ship Savitri reached Port Louis in Mauritius as part of a long-range operational deployment to the southwest Indian Ocean region. The ship will undertake joint exclusive economic zone surveillance activity alongside the Mauritius National Coast Guard ships and aircraft. In a tragic road accident in the Rangareddy district in Telangana state, at least 19 people have lost their lives. The incident involved a collision between a road transport corporation bus and a lorry. President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the deaths and prayed for the swift recovery of the injured in the Telangana mishap. PM announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees to the next of kin of each of the deceased and 50,000 rupees for those injured. A trolley overturned in Jaipur, Rajasthan, killing at least 10 people and injuring others. The injured were brought to the hospital. PM Narendra Modi expressed condolences to families of those who have lost lives. Indian equity indices ended flat on Monday, with Nifty ending at 25,763.35 points with a rise of 41.25 points. At close, the Sensex was up 39.78 points at 83,978.49. Indian rupee ended flat at 88.78 per dollar on Monday. Gold futures maturing on 5th of December were priced at 121,482 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for 5th of December maturity stood at 148,681 rupees per kilograms on the MCX. India's GST revenue registered a record collection of INR 1,95,936 crores for October 2025, registering a 4.6% increase over last year's revenue collection for the same duration. Brent crude oil futures rose to $65 per barrel on Monday. The OPEC Plus alliance agreed to a hike of 137,000 barrels per day increase in oil production starting in December this year. US President Trump said that NVIDIA's advanced Blackwell chip for artificial intelligence would not be given to others, adding that US will not let China have NVIDIA's most advanced chips. The dollar reached a 3-month high on Monday amid expectations of a US data release. US President Donald Trump on Sunday alleged that countries including Russia and China have conducted underground nuclear tests unknown to the public and that the United States would follow suit. Meanwhile, China has denied testing nuclear weapons after US President Trump alleged that the country was among those to have conducted tests unknown to the public. China on Monday responded to warnings by US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent that the US could raise tariffs on China if it backtracks on rare earths. US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth on Monday toured the demilitarized zone bordering North Korea during his visit to South Korea. Pete Hegseth arrived in South Korea on Monday. The US and South Korea defense ministers are scheduled to hold an annual security consultative meeting on Tuesday. Trump has warned that the US could deploy troops or carry out airstrikes in Nigeria to stop the alleged killing of Christians there. Christian leaders in Nigeria welcomed Trump's threat to intervene over religious violence but cautioned against any attempt to dictate the country's leadership. On the issue of giving Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, US President Trump said that he is not really considering this option even after the Department of War approved long-range Tomahawk missile supplies to Ukraine. Tanzania's Samia Suluhu Hassan has been sworn in as president with an internet blackout still holding after election protests in which the opposition alleges hundreds were killed by security forces. Industry ministers from 17 European Union countries, including Germany, France, Italy, Spain and Poland, have signed the Berlin Declaration on Monday. The declaration calls for radical simplification of EU's industrial regulations. France's Justice Minister said that it will build modular prisons manufactured in factories and assembled on site. British police on Monday charged a 32-year-old man with 10 counts of attempted murder over a knife attack on a train on Saturday. The police said that it was not a terrorist incident. Israel on Monday identified 3 more bodies of deceased hostages handed over by Hamas. Israel said on Sunday that it had received the remains of 3 additional captives from Hamas as part of an ongoing hostage-prisoner exchange under a US-brokered ceasefire agreement for Gaza. The remains were received through the Red Cross inside Gaza. Hamas has so far returned the remains of 17 hostages, including 15 Israelis, 1 Thai national and 1 Nepali. Russian Defense Ministry on Monday announced that its forces had advanced in the nearby Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk and destroyed that Ukrainian formations near Pokrovsk railway station and industrial zone. The United Nations on Sunday said that tens of thousands of civilians in Sudan have fled towns and villages in east of Darfur just over a week after paramilitary forces overran the city of Al Fasher. A worker was hospitalized with serious injuries and 2 more workers were lightly hurt following the partial collapse on Monday of a medieval tower under renovation in central Rome near the Colosseum. The leader of Spain's eastern Valencia region, Carlos Matan, resigned on Monday over his administration's handling of catastrophic floods that swept over the region a year ago, killing over 229 people and caused billions of euros in damages. Charles Coste, the world's oldest living Olympic gold medalist, passed away at the age of 101. And we are heading for a short break. Keep watching DD India. Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. Let's resume. A 6.3 magnitude earthquake struck Afghanistan, killing more than 20 people and injuring 643 in Balkh and Samangan provinces. Rescue operations continue to pull people from the rubble as Afghanistan remains highly vulnerable, located on 2 major active fault lines. Tropical storm Kalmegi is intensifying as it moves towards Philippines' eastern coast, packing winds of 120 km per hour and gusts up to 150 km per hour. Landfall is expected late Monday or early Tuesday. Authorities have begun precautionary evacuations, in flood and landslide-prone areas, warning fishermen to stay ashore as Kalmegi threatens to bring dangerous seas and heavy rain. The death toll from landslide in Kenya's Rift Valley has climbed to 26 after heavy rains triggered massive destruction. 25 people are still missing and rescue teams, including military aircraft and disaster specialists, are searching affected areas. After Category 5 Hurricane Melissa devastated Jamaica, the US has deployed 34 specialists and 4 canine teams to support rescue and recovery operations. Virginia Task Force 1, known for its global disaster missions including in Turkey, Haiti, Ecuador and Nepal, is also on the ground in Jamaica, helping with post-hurricane relief. Traffic has resumed on Nepal's Prithvi Highway after a dry landslide blocked the stretch on Sunday, while several other key routes remain closed as debris clearing continues. According to India Meteorological Department, the northwest and central India will see a 2 to 4 degrees Celsius drop in the next 2 weeks. Pope Leo visited Rome's largest cemetery, the Verano, on Sunday to celebrate a mass in honor of the Feast of All Souls. Tehran's Toy Museum helps kids connect their world to that of their parents and grandparents via toys. The museum showcases toys from various countries. Fireworks and drone show amazed the visitors in illuminating the night sky in Egypt's Giza at the opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum near the pyramids. The inauguration marked the ending of the 2 decades of delays in the construction because of wars in the region, pandemic and other reasons. The museum's most highly promoted attraction is the expansive collection of treasures from Tutankhamun's tomb uncovered in 1922 and thousands of other objects. The inauguration was attended by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and other dignitaries and royalties who gathered to witness the grandeur of the museum, showcasing one of the world's richest collections of antiquities. Families in Bolivia's El Alto danced and played music at the Mercedarian Cemetery, honoring their ancestors during the traditional Day of the Dead celebration. Families in Guatemala raised colorful kites to remember their ancestors on the Day of the Dead. Mexicans welcomed back the spirits of their loved ones during the Day of the Dead celebrations. The tradition is an amalgamation of the pre-Columbian beliefs with the Catholic All Saints and All Souls Days. Locals and tourists flocked the streets in Mexico City wearing iconic skull-inspired costumes and masks. The parade featured hallmark elements of the annual tradition such as flowers, pre-Hispanic motifs and feathered costumes, popular culture figures and a float with people using wheelchairs. Residents in South Africa's Cape Town marched on streets dressed as zombies in the annual Zombie Walk. The walk is part of a community-led Halloween events in South Africa, merging entertainment with charitable causes. Bolivia observed the Day of the Dead weekend. It's a tradition in Bolivia to buy tanta wawas, breed-baked figures that represent the dead. In fact, dressed in historical attires, enthusiasts gathered to ride the vintage penny farthing bicycle model in a park in Czech Republic's capital, Prague. Located in the Spanish town of Boston lies the country's smallest cemetery, known as Teresa's Cemetery, covering an area of 100 square meters. It is designated as the local cultural asset. Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan announced his next big action drama King on his birthday. The film is set to hit cinemas next year. Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Love and War, starring Ranbir Kapoor, Alia Bhatt and Vicky Kaushal, will release on 14th of August next year. Bollywood war drama film Ikkis, based on India's youngest Paramveer Chakra hero, is set to hit the theatres worldwide on 25th of December. The first look of war drama series Operation Safed Sagar was released on Sunday. The film is based on the Indian Air Force's high-altitude air operation during the Kargil War in 1999, one of the toughest air missions in Indian history. Bollywood star Paresh Rawal starred The Taj Story has collected 5 crore rupees in its opening weekend. The much-awaited Hindi action thriller series The Family Man 3, starring Manoj Bajpayee, is set to release on 21st of November on OTT platforms. The makers have officially announced the sequel to the 2020 crime thriller Raat Akeli Hai, titled Raat Akeli Hai, The Bansal Murders. The film will see Nawazuddin Siddiqui return as Inspector Jatal Yadav character. International Film Festival of India 2025 will host India's first AI Film Festival and Hackathon in Goa from November 20 to 28, exploring how artificial intelligence can shape future filmmaking and storytelling. Award-winning film Little Box of Sweets, directed by actor-director Menaka Das, will have a special screening on 7th of November at the British Council Auditorium in New Delhi. Hollywood true crime drama series Death by Lightning is set to release on digital platform on 6th of November. India clinched their maiden Women's Cricket World Cup trophy as they defeated South Africa by 52 runs in the final in Navi Mumbai. Batter Shafali Verma is the youngest player to be named player of the match in the final at the age of 21 years and 278 days. Deepti Sharma was named player of the series for her all-round performances in the tournament. All-rounder Deepti Sharma is also the first player to score over 200 runs and take more than 20 wickets in a World Cup. India's openers Smriti Mandhana and Shefali Verma shared a 104-run partnership, which is the second century partnership in the Women's World Cup final. South Africa captain Laura Woolward has become the highest scorer in a World Cup with 571 runs. The Board of Control for Cricket in India has announced a cash prize of 51 crore rupees for its women team after they clinched the World Cup trophy. Australia batter Travis Head has been released from the T20 squad to get some red ball practice ahead of the Ashes series against England. Yannick Sinner reclaimed #1 spot in the world rankings after he clinched the Paris Masters for the first time. The 24-year-old defeated Felix Auger-Aliassime 6-4, 7-6 in the final. Top seeds Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz will play an exhibition match in South Korea in January next year to ramp up their preparations for the Australian Open. Oldest former Olympic champion Charles Costa passed away at 101 years. He won gold at 1948 London Olympics and was a torchbearer at the 2024 Paris Games. Erling Haaland scored twice to lead Manchester City to 3-1 win over Bournemouth after propel his side to the second place in the Premier League. Southampton sacked manager Will Still after just 5 months in charge, following a string of poor results that left the club in relegation zone. Argentina football team led by star player Lionel Messi is likely to visit India in March next year. And that's it in this edition of Express News. You stay tuned to DD India. News and updates will continue.